So you want to sell your house this spring, but you want to make sure that you get the top dollar in the quickest amount of time. Is it still even possible here in the Central Maine market? It is. Stick around, I'm going to talk you through it today. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is Central Maine's realtor Nick Isgro with eXp Realty, and today I want to break down some of my kind of best top tips for spring market 2023 right here in the Central Maine market. What can you do to make sure that your home stands out, that you still get that quick sale for the highest dollar value possible? Now before I get into that, I want to welcome you here to the channel. If you've never been here before, we cover all things real estate here in the state of Maine, but particularly right here in the Central Maine market. If that's of interest to you or adds value to your process in the buying and selling of homes, or maybe you just like real estate, do me a favor, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, knock that little alarm bell. You'll be notified every time we put out new content. All right, now I want to jump right into this because as everybody knows, we are not in the same market that we were a year ago. And even a year ago, when we were in that kind of crazy, insane seller's market, and we are still in a seller's market, by the way, but even a year ago, I always would still have advised anybody, and I did actually at the time, that you put your best foot forward, because when you list your home for sale, just remember that even though there's not a lot of inventory, buyers are picky, and in fact, this year, they're starting to get a little bit pickier as far as what they're willing to put down. Remember, interest rates are a little bit higher. They're looking at this as maybe a little bit more longer term investment than they were a year ago. So you really want to make sure that all of the conditions are right and ready for them when they see your home, because that first impression is going to be a lasting impression. It's very hard to overcome. So without any further ado, what is the first big thing you really want to do to get your home ready to sell this spring? Declutter, declutter, declutter. I really can't stress this enough. It is so important that before we even come into the house and take a photo or a video tour or anything like that, that you've gone through the process to declutter as much as possible. Now listen, I get it. It's Maine. It's been the winter time. We're inside a lot, especially if you have kids. You know what I'm talking about. The place can be an absolute disaster sometimes just because we're spending so much more time indoors. The more time you have inside with your children, with your pets maybe, whatever the case may be, there's going to tend to be a little bit more clutter, whether it's magazines that are sprawled on the counter, maybe it's things that are on the kitchen counter, maybe it's, snow gear in the entryway, snow shovels that you have in the mudroom. Even think about your garage, your snow blowers and your snow shovels. Now, granted, it's Maine in March and April. We do sometimes get snow. I get it. You can't totally put those things away, but you can tidy them up, and that's kind of the point here. You want to make sure that everything looks neat and tidy when somebody comes into your home, because I can tell you, there are a few things more difficult to overcome than when you walk into a home and the place just looks like a bomb just exploded and there's stuff everywhere and people are kind of stepping over things, and it makes it very difficult for the people who are coming to potentially purchase your home to really envision themselves in that space. That's why if you have a professional stager, they're going to haul half of that stuff out of there. They might even bring some of their own stuff in there to make it look a certain way. The point of all of that is to make an open, plainer space, a depersonalized space that somebody could come into the home and really get a feel, get a vision of what it might look like, and start thinking in their head, what might they do with that same space as opposed to what you have done. To do that, you've got to declutter, and we give this advice to declutter any time of the year, but it couldn't be more critical than now, because let's face it, not only do you have the fact that you're coming out of winter like we just talked about, but this is also going to be one of the busiest markets. You're going to have more buyers coming into the market, potentially more people viewing your house. And traditionally here in Maine, May is one of the highest grossing months. One of the highest months of the year. You have the opportunity to get the most dollar value out of your home in this April, May, and June market. That's just typically how the history looks if we look back at sales records. So this is your opportunity to make the biggest impression, squeeze the most money out of your home. To do that, you've got to make the home look good. You got to make it look fresh, and part of that means decluttering everything. Make it look nice and neat and open, so when they come into your home, it feels nice and ready. The next thing I want to advise to get the most money for your home in the spring market here in Central Maine is something that a lot of people think about, and that is cleaning the outside of your home. Now remember, it's been winter, you've been inside all this time, but what's going on outside, especially as the snowbanks start melting away from the house, you're getting all that meltage, and you really start to see maybe some of those projects that you ignored last fall, like maybe trimming the hedges. Maybe you didn't, get all those leaves off the lawn or get the flowers flower beds raked up as well as you could have, now is the time to do that before you get the home listed. You want to make sure that when someone pulls up to the house, that it really pops in comparison to the other homes that they're going to be looking at. Because let's face it, if somebody pulls up to your home and they look at your house and they're thinking, well, I don't really even like it from the outside, no matter what the inside looks like, it's going to be hard to overcome that initial impression, because they're going to have that feedback loop of bias that they already created by looking at the outside of the house that they didn't want to go into. Not saying it's impossible, not saying you can't do it, but this is all about giving you that best foot forward, giving you that leg up over the competition. So, you know, look at your walkways, make sure everything's clear of debris. If it happens to be late enough and your lawn is growing, make sure you get the lawn mowed, keep that fresh as well. If you have a porch, have the porch decluttered, open, maybe even put a couple of potted plants, a little preview of what's coming this spring and summer on the outside. The more you can make your home pop, so when they pull up and they think, wow, look at this nice, well-kept yard, they're going to create also that positive feedback bias about what they're going to expect when they come on the inside of your home, and that's always a good thing. All right, the third tip I want to give you here for getting your home ready to pop the spring market: open it up and brighten it up. So what do I mean by that? Well, open it up. We're gonna get a lot of warm days coming here very, very soon. As temperatures get up in the 50s and the 60s, especially when the sun's beating down on the house. Open up the windows a little bit, clean out some of that air. Look, there's nothing better than walking to a home that smells clean, it smells fresh. Hopefully it already kind of smells like that anyway. Seriously, people don't like a smelly house. But this is a great opportunity for you to clean it out and just get that fresh outdoor air in there, saturate things, and just lighten it up and freshen it up a little bit. Now, when I say lighten it up, you know, think about all of your throw blankets, throw pillows, any decorations you might still have remaining from even the fall and sometimes Christmas. I know it's hard to put them away, you got a lot going on, but some of those darker colored things, replace them with light, spring-colored pastels, whites. If you have a room that's super dark and you're sitting in there right now and you're thinking, wow, this room should be brightened up, even if you paint one wall as an accent wall, a white or a beige, something light and neutral, the more painting and freshening up you can do to open up that house. Because remember, a dark room feels small and enclosed, claustrophobic even sometimes. A light, well-lit room, it's going to allow the natural light to come in and shine off those walls a little bit more, and it's just going to feel cleaner, it's going to feel bigger, and it's going to allow them, again, to just see themselves in that space, envision what they want in there, rather than be confronted by something very abrupt that's going to have kind of a lasting impression of, well, a room just gave me some bad feeling, or I felt enclosed, or I just couldn't really visualize what that room's potential could be were it something a little bit lighter. And just to revisit, it doesn't always have to be the paint on the walls. It could be throw blankets, decorations, bringing some, you know, fresh flowers. Right now at the grocery store, they have a lot of light pastel colored tulips. There's some daffodils out there. Put some potted flowers around the house, just things that give a little bit of bright, cheery color, so when they come in, they're feeling good, they're feeling warm. Make that inside be a little bit cheery, just like that weather outside is turning into as they're out on these sunny Saturdays or sunny evenings now that we have daylight savings, looking at your home. I don't want to step on some toes with this next one here, but this is a great time. If you're listing your home this spring and you really want to make an impact and get that top dollar, it's time to make those necessary repairs. It's time to do the things that we've been putting off. I know we've been inside all winter. We said we were going to get to it last fall, that crack in the tub or the leaky faucet. This is the time to do it. Remember, people are going to be coming in the home, and especially during this market, you're going to have a little bit more competition. More homes tend to be listed for sale, but you also have more opportunity, more buyers coming through your home. And people are going to be out in the summertime. They don't want to be inside fixing up different projects. They want to come in and just know that the house is ready to go. So if there's little projects, maybe it's patching a wall, like I said, maybe a leaky faucet, maybe you have something on the exterior like a cracked gutter, or the gutters need to be cleaned. Any maintenance project that you can think of that you have had on the back burner, you've known it in your mind, this is something that kind of needs to get done. Get it done now before you list. So when people come in, this house is ready to go. The inspector comes in, he's happy, they're happy. Ultimately, you're happy. This last thing is actually something that most people are not going to think of, but I think it's one of the most important things you can do as you're getting your house ready to sell in the spring. Remember, this is a time of year we're counting on a lot of light and the sun and the change of seasons, what that does to people's feelings. Well, if that's not all coming through those windows and they're still seeing the grime from the fall and the winter, they're not going to get that great feeling. This is such a little detail. It's an easy detail for you to take care of, but I promise you it's going to have a huge impact. Wash every window in the house, inside and out. This is not a big job. This could take you maybe an hour or two on the weekend, depending on your home and whether you have windows that open from the inside or if you only have to do it from the outside. But either way, getting those windows totally clean allows so much more light to come into the house. It's going to give that sparkling, clean feeling, even subconsciously. If someone walks into a room and the windows are glistening and the light is pouring through and it's just crystal clear, they're going to understand that this is a house that's been cared for. It's a house that's clean. It just sends those signals that this is a place they can come into and kick their feet up and just rest and make it their own home without doing all kinds of extra work. So that is it. Those are kind of my top tips for getting your house ready this spring. Here in the spring market in Maine, I think we're going to have a great central Maine spring market. It's already kind of heating up when quality homes are hitting the market. We're seeing multiple offer scenarios again. We are seeing some over asking price. We know on average home sellers are getting about 99% of what they're asking for. So it's still a great market to sell, and we don't know how long that's going to last, but I think we're going to have a great spring market. And if you are in the market right now, or maybe you've been in the market, would love to hear what your thoughts. What things do you have maybe that you could add to this list that people should be doing? Always love to hear from there, and I know people can go down from the comments and get your thoughts and opinions, and who knows, maybe you will come up with a list that's way better than what I put together. But these are just things that I notice when I'm going through a house, when I'm working with buyers. What are the things that I get comments on? What are the things I hear about? And the things that I personally see. So that's how I put my list together. If you're in the market, or maybe you're getting ready to come to market and you are looking for a real estate professional to work with, all of my contact information is linked in the post below. Would love to connect with you. Feel free to contact me any way that is most convenient for you. Of course, as always, I thank each and every one of you for sticking around to the end of this video. And until the next one, I'll see you next time.